everyone, and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around education. I have been a teacher all of my life, and along my journey, I have met and I continue to meet so many interesting and inspiring people. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and the amazing work that they do. Today, I'm here with the lovely Tanya Sivaram. She's actually an old friend because her parents were friends with my parents even before we were born, I think. And then I got to know her when we worked together in a school here in Bangalore. And she's now doing many things, one of which is she's a wonderful mother. And but today we're here to talk about her work. So her official title is she is an authentic vocal coach. That sounds very fancy, Tanya. So we'll start off by you telling us, what is an authentic vocal coach, and also if you could tell us how you got to doing what you do today.
Lovely. Thank you so much for having me, Anupa. So an authentic vocal coach, the short version is that it's getting your most authentic voice to the forefront. A lot of people come to voice lessons thinking that they want to sing like someone else because their voice might not be good enough. And that's so sad. So it's the more you are and the more you sound like you, the more beautiful your voice is, the more unique your voice is, the more authentic your expression is, the more genuine your expression is. And it just all works together so well to communicate really well what you want to say.
Lovely. I love that. I mean, obviously, authentic is something that we all need to aim for, not only in terms of singing, but in terms of just being who we are. So how did you get to this point of, because I know I have been a singer all my life and it's always like, oh, you sound like so and so, or I would love to sound like so and so. So I love it. So please tell us how you got to this.
Yeah, so I've been a music teacher for a big part of my life. And growing up, I could never run away from music. Like, even if I tried, music will always find me. And I realized the one thing that is the common thread throughout my life, because I wear many hats and I would put my fingers in lots of different pies, but the one common thread that just never disappeared was especially singing in music. And so that was always a love. But I also loved teaching. So that was another strand and I did a lot of, basically, it comes back to me being a mom again, which is once I had kids, I started doing some introspection. Like, what do I actually want out of life? What do I actually want to do? And somehow when you have little people like looking at you and worshiping you, you're kind of like, why? Why? What do I have to inspire, to them? And so, and also as a mom, you're trying to teach them to be all they can be. And then if you're not doing that yourself, you kind of feel a bit hypocritical. And so I started doing a lot of inner work and a lot of introspection and things like that. And I was so excited with it. It's the only thing other than singing that I was so passionate about. Like, I loved it. Like, it started to become unhealthy to a point, because I was just doing so much inner work, I was forgetting about my real life. But eventually I used to have this fear that people who want to do inner work and find out who they are and do introspective work do not want to learn how to sing. And people who want to sing do not want to do inner work and introspection. That was the myth that I just had going in my head. And funnily enough, that was completely false. And there are a lot of singers that really want to get to know who they are and why they're doing this in the first place. Because singing can be such a surface level, I just want to look put together and sound good, but a performance, I mean, you can see it in all those American Idol shows and The Voice. Most of the time, it's not the perfect voice that gets all the claps. The perfect voice are like, wow, how lovely. But it's the story and it's the message and it's the effort and it's the personality of the person that's being communicated, and what they're passionate about and their values and all of that and their journey. So, how did I get here was the question, right? So basically, I started mixing both these things together, both these genres together. And I have created a program now, which is a 4-month program that helps a person go from not really knowing what they're good at, not knowing what their weaknesses are, not knowing what they need to change with their voice, and not really knowing who they are or what they want to say, to a real exploration journey along with singing techniques, professional vocal singing techniques that get you to a place that when you sing a song, you actually feel free and confidence to sing that song. You're not just feeling like you're putting on a side of you or stepping into some other mask that needs to be like, I'll just sing and shut off internally and then get off the stage and be like, oh, so it's a very holistic program that I am very passionate about. So that's what
That's
I do.
lovely. So it's just like, in a nutshell, it's just being comfortable with the voice that you have and just working on that. And
Yeah.
because it's a unique,
And there's so much about it that is unlearning. Because as we grow up, there's so many influences that criticisms, negative beliefs, lids, people put on us. And we just believe it because we don't know better. And so we think that singing is fill in the blank. And actually, singing is what is the freest expression of myself, and it's a really beautiful journey that you can take that is really fun to explore as well.
yeah. So what are your students like? I mean, are they kids or adults or male, female?
Mainly adults.
Mainly adults.
It's a
Okay.
mix. Yeah, it's a mix of male and female, but mainly adults because I'm slightly hesitant to do this work on kids just
Mhm.
because I don't want to step on parents' toes,
Okay.
with them exploring their innermost beliefs and all that kind of stuff. If the parents okay with it, I'm okay with it. We go like 14, 15, that works. But any younger than that, I feel like singing just needs to be fun. Like you just need to enjoy yourself. That's the main goal. And then as you get older, you can start thinking about why am I doing this? Is this just because I'm trying to show off? Is this because I actually care about this? Why am I? When you get your why sorted out, it
Yeah.
feels so much more comfortable. And I also feel like singing is just a means of communication. It's not like everyone thinks speaking is a means of communication, acting is a means of communication. But when it comes to singing, it's like, no, 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 I have to have a perfect voice. It's like, no, no, no. You're again just communicating through another medium. So it's the message and the communication that is the most important, not just the perfection of that medium. It's like if someone gave a speech and people came to you afterwards and goes, you just sounded really good. And you'd be like, well, did you like what I was talking about? Oh, that doesn't matter. You just sounded really good. I love how your voice is so deep. You'll just be like, I mean, you guys missed the boat, but that's what we do for singing all the time. It's all about whether I sounded good and whether, and we're not thinking about what is the actual message that I want to communicate through this performance or through this song.
Mm.
So it brings up a whole nother dimension.
Yeah, that makes sense. The reason I asked is because when you were talking about unlearning, I was wondering if you work with students, I mean, not students, with the kids, with children, then probably later they won't have to unlearn much. So, but then you're right about stepping on parents' toes and things like that. But yeah, you were going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say,
So the thing is, where it's surprising what an effect puberty actually has on your voice. And there's a lot of adults, male and female, that come to me with the original problems stemming from puberty because they were star singers, and then they went on stage and it was during those puberty years and their voice croaked or cracked a little bit and they just decided that they were bad at singing. I used to be really good, but now I'm bad, and it's like, oh no, no, your voice was just changing and you have to give it that little period to expand, female and male, and so there's a lot of singing trauma that happens during that season. So unless you know how to navigate that, so I give a huge warning to a lot of parents. If I ever teach a kid, like 8, 9 years old, I tell them that I am going to talk to your child about the fact that their vocal cords are going to change when they're 12, 13, that age level, because I don't want to give them this false pie. Like, your voice is always going to be this because you get praised so much as a kid. And then you get on stage as a 13-year-old with 100 times more insecurities. And then your voice croaks a little bit. And now you think you're the worst singer in the world, and it's crazy how much our mind influences our voice. Your voice doesn't have, it's like it just won't work irrespective of what's going on here. Like, your voice is part of the body. So if your body believes I can't sing high notes, then you can't sing high notes. If your body believes I have a thin voice, I have a soft voice, all those beliefs affect your voice so much. So one of the very first lessons I do with my students is we separate what are limiting beliefs and what are reality. Because I find that when they come to me, we can work on your skills, but if you still believe this, I don't care how good your voice gets. You're not gonna get past it. And that's what happened when I was a singing teacher, just a singing teacher, just a singing teacher for about 3 years. This was happening with most of my students. They would come to me and they would say, like, this guy wanted to sing at his wedding, and he took lessons for like 3 months, and he was amazing. Like, how much he improved was incredible. And I kept telling him to go sing in front of other people, because you think I'm just giving you compliments, but I'm telling you your voice sounds beautiful. Go sing in front of someone who you respect and see if they think you've improved. But he was so scared, and he's just like, no, I think other people still sing better than me. It's okay, I don't. And it broke my heart just to see how he just couldn't break past that lid. And so I was like, yeah, I can't just be a singing teacher anymore. I need to help them with this whole mental aspect as well, because it's just like, it's so sad, because I can see how much they've improved, but they can't accept it. It's bouncing off their little box of
You're
beliefs.
actually you're actually counseling them as well, right? I mean, like it's not only just like you said, it's not you're just not just a singing teacher.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about that is I am a very mathematically creative person. Let's say logical. I just like math, so I say mathematical. But I'm a logically creative person. So I like structures, and I like boundaries, and I like tools, and so my course is not, let's just sit down and have a conversation. It's always got a tool that will help you dig deeper into the part, and it's a very you process. I kind of facilitate and observe and help direct. But at the end of the day, if we're not going authentically to what actually is your issue, then it's not going to help you. So, we have to find every single person is so different. I'm not found, like, if you tell me what's the most common problem, it's misbeliefs. But what those beliefs are completely different from one person to the next. Like, it's amazing how complicated we are on the inside.
Yeah, I know that. I'm discovering that about myself as well. I thought I was such a, cool, absolutely fine person, and now I'm finding so many other aspects. So yeah, I had a question, but I forgot. Yeah, what's the kind of like, the general age group? I know you're working with adults, but what is the age group where you find they're the most complicated, or is that even something that you've noticed? I don't know.
I haven't had many much older people, like above 40. I haven't had many of that age yet. I think mostly between 20 and 40. That's like the age group. That's the most common age group I've worked with. Um, there are some younger kids that I do just a few lessons for, but I don't do too much of the inner work aspect of it. Although, just the other day, I had an 8-year-old. Well, she's older now. I mean, not the other day, it'll be a year ago. And she hates karaoke. Like, she hates singing with a karaoke track. Couldn't handle it. And so every time she would learn, and she's got this the most gorgeous voice, like beautiful voice. But as soon as I tell her to sing with a karaoke track, she freaks out. She says, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. And so I told her, okay, we're not going to do it. Don't worry. Get a piece of paper out. And I want you to imagine that you're, like, I made her play the karaoke track. Don't worry, you're not going to sing, but you're going to imagine that you're about to sing. You're about to sing, but instead of singing, just write down your thoughts. And it was like, no, I don't want to do this. What if I fail? I'm not that good. What if I ruin everything? Like, all these thoughts. And it's like an 8-year-old. And I'm like, oh my God, we start so young. All these criticisms. And so everything came out. She drew pictures, and she drew like skidjaggy signs all over the page. And I was just like, oh, yes, get it all out. Get it all out. This is what we need to talk about. And now, like, she still sometimes goes, but the fuss is not there so much. Like, it's like, come on, this is part of the lesson now. You know that you're good at this now. You can handle it. And she lives in Japan. So you can imagine, like, karaoke capital of the world. So maybe that's the reason, so much pressure. But
Hmm.
yeah, so she's doing really well now. But
So
I
you,
really feel like the problem is digging out the problem. Like,
hmm,
let's bring it to the light. It's not about shoving it down and just doing it anyway.
yeah.
It's like, that's just gonna eventually make you explode.
Yeah, I know. That's what
Yeah.
we've all done, right? Like shoving it down and doing it anyway. Yeah. I mean, I know I've done that a lot. Yes. So it's all about, I mean, you try to help a student identify their fears and help them overcome it is what
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
figuring out here. Yes?
Yes. It's a
Okay.
lot of fears. And also, singing and the ego. live very close together.
Oh,
Like,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, because it's all about like you're trying your best to show yourself in the best light, right? Because it's a performance, and it's like, look at me, I'm going to sing for all of you now. All eyes are on me, and so it's like if you've got a delicate ego, you're not going to survive that very well because one person looks at you a little bit, you're going to interpret that as, oh my gosh, hostile, you know. And so it's all about kind of developing this inner world that becomes much more confident and stable so that no matter what is happening on the outside, you can handle it because you've got this sorted. Because you take yourself everywhere you go, but you can't expect the environment to adjust to you everywhere you go. You know, there are safer environments and unsafer environments, but at the end of the day, if you feel unsafe on stage, the only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control what the audience is going to do. And so the more confident you feel inside, the better
Oh,
it's going to
that's
go.
so interesting. Tanya, you have, I mean, there's so many treasures in this conversation. My goodness, it's unbelievable. So I can see now why you are enjoying what you do so much. And when I
Yeah.
see you on social media and, you put out these little videos and whatever they're called, but you are
Yes.
really passionate about what you do. And I can see why. So apart from,
Yeah.
the pitch and the volume and all those kind of things, I know that one problem that many people I know face is overcoming stage fear. So
Fear. Mm-hmm.
yeah, stage fright or whatever it's called. So, any tips on how people can
So
over?
again, stage fright is about finding out what it actually is. Because stage fright is just a huge label for 100 different things that might actually be going on. So if you do have stage fright, what I give people is again this visualization. Like the human brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So we can access things by not even doing them. Like we can understand why we're doing things a certain way if we want to. So again, you just, do this thing where you see yourself, you're stepping up on stage, your heart is racing, there are lots of people staring at you, maybe some friends and family's faces you can see, which makes you even more nervous sometimes. And then you're standing up on stage, you're about to take the mic, your hand is shaking a little bit, and the music intro starts, and you're about to sing. Write down your thoughts. And I'm telling you, not once have two people got the same thought. Like it always surprises me. Like I think I would know because I'm supposed to, as a teacher always knows, but most often, like I'm like, okay, so was it the pitch that was scary? Like you wouldn't get the notes? No, I'm so confident with the notes. I'm like, oh great, okay, then what's the issue here? So it's really interesting what actually comes up. Like some people are like, I just feel like a fraud. And that means again, like that authenticity piece comes up, right? What part of you, what mask are you putting on? It's a quick segue. I once heard this person say that if you need a lot of downtime after being around people, if you're like an extrovert and you still need the need the downtime, it usually means that you need that downtime to find yourself again because you're being someone else in front of other people. And that one idea hit me so hard like a few years ago. I was like, oh my gosh. Because even at home, I wanted to be the perfect mom and I want to be the perfect wife. And I remember listening to this video, and the very next day, my kids came to me, like, what's for breakfast? We want pancakes. We want this. I'm like, I can do oats. I can do a fried egg. And they looked at me like, are you even allowed to say that? But that was the first time that I wasn't like pushing myself out of my comfort zone to be the perfect mom, because that was what I was under for a while. And in being more authentic, I have a much better relationship with my kids now. Like they actually see me as human, and I see them as human, and we connect so much better. But yeah, stage fright is again not being scared of the problem. Like some people will find doing that visualization so difficult because they're just scared of what they will find. But the truth is, until you look, when you finally see it, some people are like, "Oh, that!" Like
Mm,
that's not so hard, But the journey to get there can be a little scary because we're like, I don't know what exists in there. Like I don't know what's going to come out.
mm.
And there's that fear. So yeah, the secret is to in the lessons to make it a really comfortable space so people feel free to share, and lots of disclaimers of nothing of this is going to go on social media. No names will be mentioned. Like, so they really feel that it's private, it's safe. There's no yeah, and that really helps a lot.
That's amazing. Tanya, thank you so much. You have really opened my eyes. I know I've had a
Yeah.
couple of conversations with you as well. And so I know that you are doing an amazing job. So before we end, I just wanted to ask, what are your plans for the future? I mean, like, I know it's been a journey. You said you were just teaching voice, and then you realized that there's so much more to it, and that's what you moved into. Any thoughts on where you're moving into next?
Yeah, I think eventually I would love to make this like a community of people, who come together and support each other and make this like a little bit of a movement, which would be lovely because every singer I know faces inner demons and mental blocks and, limiting thinking and stuff. So, I mean, every human I know does it, but, we just expect singers to be there and perform. And it's not like a piano that's always tuned, it's an instrument that's part of his body that sometimes is sick. So, there are things that singers face that are quite harsh sometimes. So just get a community together and have people learn in this vein together and support each other. And I think that would be pretty cool.
That sounds amazing. I would love to be a part of this community because I have
Yay!
many fears and hang-ups myself. But my
Yes,
takeaway from my conversation with you today is just, just be proud of yourself, be yourself. Like whatever voice that God has given you, be happy with it
yeah.
and use it to communicate. Correct?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Get your
Yes.
why sorted. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Tanya, thank you
Super.
so much. This has been amazing. And I wish you all the best. And your students are
Thank
really,
you.
really lucky to have you as their vocal coach. Is that no? What is it?
Yes.
Authentic,
Authentic vocal coach. Yes.
authentic vocal coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anupa.
And bye for now.
Bye.